Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We're here in Los Angeles, California at the Porsche Experience Center for a very special reason. We're going to be going through the skills and drills of this facility, but we're going to be doing it in one of these. This is it. This is a 2021 Porsche Boxster, also known as the 718. This particular one is a GTS. But before we get into this mid-engine Porsche from that iconic German brand, let's talk about what's going on here. Porsche, been around for so many decades, so many iconic models, all about that German performance, German style, and of course, a level of fit and finish that's second to none. Now, of course, everybody and their mother knows that when you think Porsche, people are gonna say 911. What's interesting, there was once upon a time where they were thinking about getting rid of the 911 and replacing it with the Porsche 928. Well, guess what? The 911 still exists, thankfully, with that rear engine, flat setup that they have with the cylinders. But with this car, what they decided to do is make something a little bit smaller, but move the engine to the middle. So the engine actually resides between the rear axle and the front axle, and that was the birth of the Boxster all the way back in 1996. And this was one of those models that, guess what, saved Porsche along with the SUVs that they made down the road as well. Now, GTS, what does that mean? Because you could get a Boxster GTS, you could also get the coupe version, which is what we're gonna be driving on track here. That's the Cayman. GTS stands for Gran Turismo Sport. So what you're gonna get is you're gonna get even more performance, but you're still gonna be able to have that wonderful everyday drivability. Another thing that's fascinating, GTS. When did that first appear? Guess what? It was on a Porsche all the way back in 1963 on the Porsche 904. The letters GTS, that Gran Turismo Sport. What I wanna find out is, I wanna compare this to another mid-engine car that's really popular right now, the C8 Corvette. And I wanna find out who does the mid-engine drop top or coupe better. Is it gonna be Chevrolet with that mighty C8 Corvette that everybody won't shut up about? Or is it one of these vehicles from such an iconic brand that builds sports cars day in and day out? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this 2021 Boxster GTS and find out. Right off the bat, the style. It's gonna have that familiarity that goes with Porsche. And like I said, when it comes to the style and the car, this is one of those cars that really help Porsche financially get through some times to really continue to build all of the great models that we know and love today. Now, as we come around the front on this Boxster 718, you're gonna notice very, very great style. It almost blends some 911 in with it because that's one of the brand's philosophies on design. So you're gonna get this really great headlight housing. I love the way they shape it. Of course, you're gonna get a blacked out interior, those LED projector headlight beams, and Porsche does a great looking headlight housing on all their different models. And this is stuff that they've learned through racing, through wind tunnels and aerodynamic efficiency. When we drop down, talk about efficiency, you're getting that F word. No, not that F word, get your mind out of the gutter. We're talking about functionality, these massive, large corner air intakes, obviously to bring nice cool air because hot air robs us of power. This is water cooled. We need to bring in that cool air. I love the flat black and I love the wide opening that really makes it just stand out. And that's specific. This front fascia is specific to the GTS. Now, as we come across the front, nice low slung hood line with that front mounted trunk area. You're gonna get more functionality in the center, which guess what? The 911 is not functional in the center. This GTS is. And when we say GTS, you're getting some of that naturally aspirated goodness, a flat six, 4-liter engine. We'll talk about that in a few moments, I promise. But I just love the dimensions, the size, it's just absolutely spot on. Now, with that hood line, you can see how they actually sink the Porsche logo into the actual sheet metal, and that is gonna help with that flow of air, but really the fit and finish. You look at all these body lines, it's almost like the Egyptians built this Porsche. That's how fine the detail is and everything fits up nicely. Compared to the C8, I don't think you're gonna see that as much. Now, as we kind of rise up and go over those peak fenders, One of the things I noticed when I got into my first Porsche, whether it be a Boxster, whether it be a 911, whether it be a Cayman, the way they design the fenders is so that when you're behind the wheel, it gives you two perfect reference points so that you can hit those apexes at your favorite racetrack or autocross event, or even your favorite twisty road. But as we twist around the bend here and check out what's going on with our wheel and tire setup, these wheels are specific to the GTS. GTS has also been a little bit of a value leader because you're getting a lot of goodies that normally people go for on that spec sheet. So what do we have? We have these beautiful flat satin silver wheels. Love the actual shape and design to it. Really, really working nicely, super clean. It's a 20-inch wheel with that Porsche logo. You'll notice that bright red 6-piston Brembo caliper with the Porsche name. Of course, when we go brake rotors, you're gonna get cross-drilled, fully ventilated, two-piece rotors, and then these are wrapped in those Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires. What I love about these tires is that they have enough stick, but they also have enough durability to where you're not gonna wear these out within 2,000 miles. So depending on what you're doing, but normal driving, you'll be able to get a nice balance here. But I really think the blue with the red and that satin silver finish just really works super well. As we go down the side, of course, engine is in the middle, color match on the mirror caps. I love on the GTS how you have that nice side sill, and look at the name there. It almost is like ghosted onto the door, but GTS with 4.0. No, that's not the GPA that you had in middle school. That means we have a naturally aspirated 4-liter engine. And you can see from front to back, really, really great proportions. Now we do have the top down and we are gonna be getting into it. And that's probably one of my favorite things is that it reminds me, when I first saw the Boxster, it reminds me of the old Porsche Speedsters. Unfortunately, it also reminds me of that famous actor James Dean, who lost his life in his 550 Spider, but this has that kind of heritage. Another thing that I love is more functionality. So just like the C8 Corvette, you're gonna get those side vents. Love the way you have those side air intakes. Gonna channel the air in with the splitter, nice flat black, and then working our way towards the rear, you got 265s. So more rubber to meet the road in this rear-wheel drive sports car. Beautiful wheel setup, still getting those large brakes. They don't go cheap on the brakes at Porsche. You're gonna get really high performance stuff front to rear, and you're looking at 265 with a 35 series sidewall. And then one of my favorite parts is the tail end of the business. Notice how the fenders had that classic line, even the way they put the third brake light, which remember, third brake lights, guess when they came about? 1986. That was the first year that we had a third brake light where it was required DOT here in the United States. Love the way they integrated those lines coming in. Nice kick up into the rear. That's gonna help give us downforce. All of this is form following function. The Porsche badge, that 718 Boxster GTS logo with the LED lights, looking slick, looking clean. And speaking of slick, speaking of clean, dropping it like it's hot, you have that GT4 style rear diffuser with the sport exhaust, nice slash cut, oval round, just really is the cherry on top of this performance drop top. But why don't we go ahead, let's talk engine performance and what type of numbers this spits out. All right, guys, so we have the rear open. Now, one of the great things about the Boxster, about the Cayman, even more so than the 911, is you actually have two storage areas. You have the front-mounted trunk up front, but you also have the rear-mounted trunk at the rear. Just like the C8 Corvette, C8 Corvette kind of focuses on a different segment of the population, really wanting to get a set of golf clubs into the trunk, but what we have is something that's underneath this cargo liner that makes it so sweet. So there's that nice large opening. One of the zonks I have is you can't see the engine at all. There's nothing really to see at the tail end of the Boxster, but it's not what you could see, it's the actual details in all of the recipes. So what are we looking at? We're looking at that 4-liter flat 6 engine, 394 horsepower, 309 pound-feet of torque. It redlines at almost 8,000 RPM, 7,800 RPM. Great news is you could either have the 7-speed PDK, which ours has, or you could have a slick shifting 6-speed manual. If you know how to dance on your twinkle toes, 0 to 60 with the manual in about 4.2 seconds. With our PDK, you're looking at 0 to 60, 3.8 seconds. Quarter mile is gonna flash by, 12 seconds flat at 120 miles an hour. Top speed, 182 miles an hour. In coupe form, you're looking at the car weighing 3,196 pounds. MPGs, not too shabby, 19 in the city, 24 on the highway. But this is what I'm saying, this mid-engine car, 911 is a rear-engine car. If you look at all the iconic race cars, the Porsche 962, the 911 GT1 and GT1 98, all of these vehicles had a mid-engine, and that's gonna give you that great weight distribution. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this Boxster GTS and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside this 718 Boxster GTS Gran Turismo Sport. I know you're loving the lines of this vehicle. I can't wait to go on throttle and experience having that flat six of 4 liters of goodness right behind us. But I know you're at that point where you're like, first of all, there's a GT3 right there, which I'm about to have a heart attack. 992 GT3 rolling in, but let's stay focused here on Raity's Rides. I'm like, Porsche. But anyways, I know you're saying to yourself, how much is this thing? I really want one. I have looked at the C8 Corvette, but it seems everybody and their mother wants one. I really kind of want one of these. I want a unique driving experience. How much is it? So MSRP for the GTS 718 Cayman is going to be right around $100,000. Obviously, it all depends on how you option it and if you go Boxster or if you go Cayman. But let's see what you get when you go this route. To the door panels, love the styling. You're going to get that wonderful dark material with the white contrast stitching, carbon fiber, really nicely placed in the center. And what I love is that you then drop down, you're getting that Alcantara material with the simplicity on that door handle, nice aluminum size finish. You do have also a Bose sound system and a large enough area for at least 8 toaster strudels. Really, really clean. Love the sporty style. Going from the door panel to the dash, same story. Look at the stitching. It's like they take a ruler and they follow the straight line of that ruler area. Unique style to the AC vents. They've been around for a while, but they still look good. You're getting Alcantara on the glove box, and then watch this. Open sesame, 2 cup holders, but you know what? You are not drinking in my Porsche. I don't care what Porsche it is, you're not drinking or eating in it. I'll drink and eat in yours. But coming to the center stack, you do get the chrono package with that chrono clock up there, looking really classy. That's such an icon when it comes to Porsches. Infotainment is a little dated, and this is where we're waiting on a redesign for the 718 platform, but you are getting a 7-inch infotainment system, obviously Apple CarPlay, obviously touchscreen, navigation. I'm gonna throw it into reverse. There's our super high resolution clear camera with trajectory, looking great. You got your dual climate control. I love the way it's got that classic Porsche feel. This is gonna control that 7-speed PDK, super fast shifts with some Alcantara on it, the 718 badge, and then you're gonna get some nice flat black with the carbon fiber, opening and close the exhaust. You could raise and lower the rear spoiler, and then of course you're gonna have an area where you could put easily 2 king-size Snickers and a USB. I wouldn't put a Twinkie in here because it's too tall and you're gonna squirt cream all over this beautiful interior. But the seats, spot on the money. Look at the GTS embroidery, leather with the Alcantara, with the stitching, perfect bolstering. It's not gonna squeeze you like a vice grip, but it's gonna hold you into place. And then of course, being 6 feet tall, you would say, oh, is this gonna be really small for me because I'm tall? No, there's plenty of room. Gonna let that air just cruise right on over and let us hear that flat 6. But why don't you come over to the business end, because I'm dying to go on throttle in our Boxster. All right, guys, here we are behind the wheel of this Boxster 718 GTS. Love the way it just fits me like the perfect size glove. Of course, you're gonna be welcome to this nice aluminum area where it says Boxster GTS Gran Turismo Sport, and then footbox. Porsche does a race car style footbox. Nice large dead pedal with some aluminum brake pedal and throttle. And I like the way they put some material on the side so you don't rub away the carpet when you're doing your track day, when you're doing your autocross event. You got all the seat controls, move this seat 20 different ways from Sunday, and then steering wheel. Perfect in size. You don't need a flat bottom gimmicky wheel. Nice round steering wheel, hollowed out on the spokes. If you notice, no controls except for this rotary dial that allows us to go through the different modes We're gonna keep it in Sport Plus, and you have massive metal paddles behind the wheel to go up and down that 7-speed PDK. Of course, it's tilting and telescoping. Let me give you a quick history lesson. Do you see how the key ignition is on the left-hand side? That is because of the 24 Hours Le Mans and other endurance races. They put the ignition and key on this side so that when drivers would start from across their car on the racetrack and run at the sound of a gunshot, jump in, they'd be able to fire up, get it in gear, and go. So that's why even to this day, all Porsches on that side. But then we have the dash. Nice large tack. It almost revs to 8,000 RPM. I like the way there's a nice digital indicator on the right side, and then you got your analog speedometer. But if you're ready, I'm definitely ready. Let's go on throttle in this 718 GTS. All right, guys, we're in this 2021 Cayman. This is the Cayman, the hardtop. This is the 718 GTS. I'm pumped because we're naturally aspirated power.
Watch for the high beams when you're ready. Now give me full throttle, full power. 3, 2, 1, let's go, go, go.
Yeah! Get him! Get him!
Keep it going. Keep it going. More, more, more. And on the brakes, right there. Good job. Just as fast as last time, 50 miles an hour if you can. Leading the brakes into the turn, steady throttle left.
Here we go.
Really feeling the G's as we get going there.
Just the way it communicates, the sound from that flat 6 just really shows all the rich racing history all poured into this car. Unbelievable, unbelievable. And the PDK, I'm not even using the paddles. You don't need to. It shifts that fast and knows what gear to be in every single time. It's better than the Tremec in the Corvette.
Pull the brakes down. I'm going to try not to use them as much. But I'm sure you know that. Keep it rolling. On the left now, behind me.
Here we go, passing the 911 turbos. Great steering feedback. we go. Here we go.
Light on the brake, keeping it mellow.
Awesome feeling. This is what it's all about. Being able to share with you. All right, guys, it's been a mind-blowing experience here at the Porsche Experience Center. Seeing the car in person, driving that Cayman 718 GTS out on the track facility here. Such a wonderful time. Definitely want to thank the whole Porsche team, Frank, Calvin, Sam, the whole crew, getting us access to this 718 GTS and inviting us out to share the experience with you. Let me know what you think. Has Porsche done enough with this 718 Boxster GTS to really give you a different experience, a better driving experience than the C8 Corvette? Maybe not as fast, but is it a better driving experience? Let me know what you think in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raiti's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you in the channel, click that link in the description. Get yourself some Raiti's Rides merch. Got to give it up to the muscle behind the lens, the hard work she does. Best in the biz. Use that hashtag, the best in the biz, in that comment section for Lori. She deserves it and so much more. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.